NTV Uganda has obtained a document bearing the official stamp of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, directing several government agencies including the UPDF, the Chief of Defence Forces, the police leadership, the Minister of Internal Affairs and the Attorney General to appear before court over the case of Amos Rwangomani, a man who allegedly disappeared after being taken by suspected security operatives. To date, his whereabouts remain unknown. The case was scheduled for hearing on 17th March 2026. During the proceedings, government lawyers led by the Ministry of Internal Affairs told court that Rwangomani was not being held in any government detention facility. However, the judge ruled in favor of the family and ordered government and its relevant agencies to produce Rwangomani before court, dead or alive. The family had relied on legal remedy of habeas corpus, which requires authorities to account for a detained or missing person.
Actually, the ruling was saying if this person, dead or alive, should be presented to court. But this person was not presented, so we remained there. The habeas corpus did not help us.
It is now nearly a year since he disappeared. Rwangomani's wife says the family is prepared to bury their loved one if government confirms that he died while in custody.
We beg as Amos's family, if this person is alive, let him be presented to court. Or let us as family members be allowed to talk to him or to see him. And if at all he is dead, give us the might and we bury him. We know that he is dead.
Relatives and members of the public were later reassured by reports suggesting that Rwangomani was still alive. This information came from two Kenyan nationals, Nicholas Oyo and Bob Njagi, who had also been arrested in Uganda under unclear circumstances. When lawyers filed a habeas corpus application on their behalf, the government similarly denied holding them. However, after some time, the two Kenyans were released. President Yoweri Museveni later stated that they had been held in a safe house while being investigated for offences related to subversion. After their release, the two men said that Amos Rwangomani was among several Ugandans they had left behind in detention. Later, John Mary Sebufu, who had also been detained after being arrested on the eve of the January polls and held for a long time, publicly mentioned Rwangomani among the people he said he had found in detention. It is becoming clear that Rwangomani is not the only person whose family has struggled to obtain justice through habeas corpus proceedings. Last week, NTV reported on the case of Christopher Godi, popularly known as King Zali, whose relatives are also searching for him after he allegedly disappeared at the hands of suspected security operatives. Despite legal efforts, the habeas corpus process has not yet helped them establish his whereabouts. NTV sought legal opinion on the effectiveness of habeas corpus. Lawyer Arias Lukwago and other legal practitioners are concerned that both government institutions and parts of the judiciary appear to be weakening the effectiveness of this important legal safeguard.
It's rather very, very important provision of the Constitution has been watered down to a point of becoming a paper tiger, an illusory provision which cannot come to the rescue of people who are incarcerated incommunicado. The history of this country is awash with cases of disappearances without a trace. And it's against that background that this particular provision was enshrined in our Constitution and was made a non-derogable right under Article 40.
One of the challenges we find is that even getting a date for the hearing of habeas corpus orders sometimes takes a lot of time, okay? You find that sometimes you have to wait up to a month to just get a date to go before a judge and, present your case, which is very unfortunate. In my view, if someone has disappeared and...
Legal and opposition figures have called for habeas corpus cases to be heard more quickly. They note that, in some instances, detainees are released or transferred elsewhere before the applications are heard, making it difficult to establish where they were being held. They warn that, unless there is change in how these cases are handled, habeas corpus risks losing its effectiveness. According to them, it remains one of the few tools available to protect people from enforced disappearances, arbitrary arrests, and unlawful detention. They argue that ignoring court orders and delaying hearings weakens the rule of law and leaves victims' families without answers. Lydia Feli Akulu, NTV Weekend Edition.